Recently, Bluetti announced their new portable power station, the AC200L, as you can see here on the screen. And we're going to be going through the specs on this new portable power station by Bluetti, the AC200L. And we're going to be comparing those specs to its predecessor, the AC200 Max, which is still a very viable unit and is still sold by Bluetti. And so we're going to be comparing all the specs of this new portable power station, the AC200L, to the AC200 Max. And hopefully this video will help you make a more informed decision, or at least give you more information on the differences between the AC200L and the AC200 Max. And if you're looking at buying one of these units for the first time, I should say, hopefully this video will be informative as to help give you the information you need to make a better informed decision as to which units you should buy. And also, if you're looking at upgrading, perhaps you have the older AC200 or an AC200P, or even the AC200 Max, and you're looking to upgrade to the AC200L. Hopefully this video will be informative and help you in that decision-making process. Now, just a disclaimer, I did my best to find all the accurate information on the new AC200L to compare it to the AC200 Max. I did look through their website on all the specs of the AC200L as well as the user manual for the AC200L. So I did my best to be as accurate as possible in this video. There may be a few discrepancies. If there are any discrepancies, I'll make sure I notate those in the description of the video. Just so you know, I am not affiliated with Bluetti. I do not make any money from this video. I don't make any money from the links in this video or any of this information, so just FYI there. So as you can see right now, the AC200L is listed for $1,499 US on the Bluetti website. And currently, just to compare, the AC200 Max is sold for $1,299 at current. So about a $200 difference if you're looking at buying one of these units brand new between the AC200L and the AC200 Max. So hopefully this video will help you inform whether it's worth going ahead and getting the AC200L or perhaps saving $200 and purchasing the AC200 Max. So hopefully you'll find this video informative. And with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, as you can see, I put all the specs of the AC200L on the left in blue and all the specs of the AC200 Max on the right in red. And that's how pretty much most of these slides are going to go. So first off, let's go through the battery capacities. Both of these units have lithium iron phosphate batteries. Both of these units have a 2,048 watt-hour capacity battery. However, the AC200L is listed as having only 3,000 life cycles, while the AC200 Max is listed with 3,500 life cycles. Now, just so you know what a life cycle is basically within 3,000 or 3,500 cycles is when the battery is going to reach 80% of its original capacity. So after 3,000 or 3,500 cycles, the battery on these units will only reach 80% of their original capacity. So obviously in this scenario, having more cycle lives on the battery would be good for longevity of your battery. Okay, AC inverter outputs. As you can see on the left, the AC200L has a AC output of 2,400 watts with a surge of 7,200, while the AC200 Max has 2,200 watts of output and a surge of 4,800 watts. Now, this AC200L does have a new mode called Lift Power Mode, which can make it go from 2,400 watts of output to 3,600 watts of output, while the AC200 Max does not have a Lift Power Mode. AC wall charging. This is where the AC200 really excels. It has a built-in AC charger capable of up to 2,400 watts, while the AC200 Max only has a 500 watt charging brick that comes with it, and it can go from 0 to 100% in 5.5 to 6 hours, while the 2,400 watt built-in AC charger on the AC200L can go from 0 to 80% in 45 minutes. Okay, the AC outlets and DC outlets on the AC200L versus the AC200 Max. So AC outlets, both units are pure sine wave inverters. So you do have 4 120 volt 20 amp outlets on both the AC200L and the AC200 Max. You also have one 120 volt 30 amp NEMA TT3 outlet on both units, the AC200L and the AC200 Max. DC outlets. Now on the AC200L, you only have two USB-A 18 watt outlets, where on the AC200 Max you have two USB-A 18-watt outlets and two USB 5-volt 3-amp outlets. On the DC outlets for the AC200L, you have two USB-C 100-watt outlets, while on the AC200 Max, you only have one USB-C 100-watt outlet. You also have a 48-volt 8-amp RV outlet on the AC200L, where the AC200 Max is 12 volts 30-amp RV outlet. You also have one 12-volt 10-amp cigarette outlet on both units. And what I did here in white is you can see it has an asterisk next to it. Now, on mine, I have two B230 batteries. And on the B230 batteries, you do have DC outlets. And so while on the AC200L, you might only have two of the USB-As, on our AC200 Max plus our two B230 batteries, we have an extra two USB 18-watt outlets. And we also have two extra USB-C 100-watt outlets, as both B230 batteries come with one USB-C 100-watt outlets. And we also have two additional 12-volt 10-amp cigarette outlets on our two B230 batteries. So I just wanted to put that in there, but I put them in white so you could see that obviously doesn't come with the AC200 Max normally as compared to the AC200L. But I wanted to show that just so you're aware of it. Okay, DC outlets continued. This is where the AC200 Max shines a little bit, as it has two 15-watt wireless chargers on top, and the AC200L does not have any wireless chargers for cell phones and things like this. The AC200 Max also has a 12-volt 30-amp aviation plug, which is not equipped on the AC200L. And the AC200 Max has two 12-watt 10-amp 5.5 millimeter DC barrel ports, which are not on the AC200L. Now, where the AC200L has the advantage of the AC200 Max is it has a new 48-volt DC output. And according to Bluetti, they're going to release a D40 unit. And with this D40 unit, you can take that 48-volt output from the AC200L and I guess downgrade it to 12 or 24 volt. And it can be used, this port, 48 volts, or using the D40, can be used to run 48-volt appliances according to Bluetti, and also for charging RV life batteries. So this might be very important to some people who are interested in the AC200L. So I thought I'd just go ahead and let everyone know about that. Okay, coming up next here, I'm going to show you the DC outlets on the AC200 Max. For those that might be a little bit more visual, this might help you guys out. So here we go. These are the DC ports on the AC200 Max. You have two sets of USB-A. You have a 5-volt 3-amp, two of those. Two 18-watt USB-As, so a total of 4 USB-As. You have a USB-C 100-watt. You have two barrel connectors, 5.5 millimeters, 12 volts, 10 amps each, which is not on the new AC200L. You have a 12-volt, 10-amp cigarette lighter, and you have a 12-volt, 30-amp aviation plug. Now, while the AC200L does have two USB-C 100-watt ports, if you're like us and you have the AC200 Max with B230 batteries, each B230 battery has an additional USB-A 18-watt, an additional USB-C 100-watt, and an additional 12-volt 10-amp cigarette type lighter. So since we have two B230s, we actually have a total of 3 USB-C 100 watts and an extra 2 USB-As and 2 extra cigarette lighters on our units. Okay, going over some of the newer features as compared on the AC200L as compared to the AC200 Max. So both of these units do have a Bluetooth capability with a Bluetooth app by Bluetti. The AC200L, however, does have Wi-Fi, where the AC200 Max does not have Wi-Fi. The AC200L does have a UPS mode set to kick in at 20 milliseconds should the power go out, while the AC200 Max does not have a UPS mode. As we discussed just a moment ago, The AC200L does have a 48 volt DC output port, which can be used along with the additional sold separately D40 unit, which can step it down from 48 volts to 12, 24, or 48 volts, I guess. You have this option on the AC200L, and this is not an option on the AC200 Max. On the AC200L, you have fast charging, up to 2,400 watts of AC input, and you can charge this unit from 0 to 80% in 45 minutes, which really shines on the AC200L. However, with the AC200 Max, you have the separate 500 watt charging brick, and to get it to 100%, it takes 5.5 to 6 hours to go ahead and charge that up. So here's some features where the AC200L would shine a little bit over the AC200 Max. Okay, the displays on the AC200L versus the AC200 Max. So the AC200L, what I'll put on screen here, has a color LCD screen, while the AC200 Max has a touch screen. Now, both these screens, as far as I can tell, will both have sleep mode, so if they've been on for a little while to conserve electricity, they will turn off. And if you touch the screen or tap a button, the screen will come back on, from my understanding. I'll put a picture of the color LCD screen from the AC200L on the screen here. The question is when you come to the expansion batteries. So while the AC200L, as I show here on the screen of the AC200L, you can see that it does show there was a battery 1 and battery 2 connected. If you have two batteries connected, because you can connect up to 2 batteries to the AC200L and in some regards to the AC200 Max as well. However, in the AC200 Max, I can check the state of charge, what the status of those batteries are, and all this kind of information right there on the touch screen, where you cannot do this on the AC200L. But with that said, in all fairness, you can see this on the app. So right now I'm going to go ahead and put on screen here the app so you can see how you can see this information. So it may not be that big of a deal to not have this directly on the AC200L screens as opposed to the AC200 Max. But some people might like this feature on the AC200 Max as opposed to the new AC200L. But that's for each individual to decide. And as you can see on the app, I was looking at the battery status of the 2 additional B230 batteries I have. Plus here you can look at the current BMS version and the different firmware versions on the app. So I'm assuming you can do this on the AC200L, so even though you couldn't see it on the display itself, you could see this on the app. Now for the displays. On the screen here, you see the AC200L's LCD screen. It looks very vibrant and bright. It's a very nice looking display. Now we're going to take a look here at the AC200 Max. Currently the AC200 Max screen is asleep, so to wake it up, you just tap it. Now on the display on the AC200 Max, if you press the percentage, you can see, again, we have 2 B230 batteries connected to our AC200 Max. And you can see the battery packs 1, 2, and 3 on here. Sorry about the glare. 1 is the AC200 Max, first B230 battery, second B230 battery. You can see their state of charge and what their battery state is, standby or charging or discharging, and if it's online. So all that information's here on the AC200 Max screen. And we're back to sleep. Also in here, you have a lot of settings. You got the product info, serial number, BMS versions. Let's go back. Let's see here. Inverter charge information. Again, all touchscreen. Right now I don't have any solar or anything coming in. DC output information. AC output information. Again, sorry about that glare. And you have your alarms. If there are any alarms, they'll show up here, which you can clear. Now, I believe a lot of this is accomplished on the AC200L through their app. To see the battery packs attached, you can do that in the app with the AC200 Max. I'm assuming you can do that also with the AC200L. However, you're not going to most likely see it on the screen as you can on the AC200 Max. So just be aware of that. Overall, I like the touchscreen on the AC200 Max. I haven't seen the screen of the AC200L in person. It looks like it's going to be pretty vibrant. So that looks like pretty cool, but I want to show you a little bit of the feature and why you may or may not like the touchscreen style screen on the AC200 Max as opposed to the AC200L. Okay, since we mentioned the expansion batteries, I thought we'd go over the information of the differences between the AC200L and the AC200 Max when it comes to expandable batteries. The biggest difference right off the bat is the AC200L only has one battery expansion port, where the AC200 Max has two battery expansion ports. Now, the first battery you could use with either unit is a B230 battery, but because the AC200L only has one expansion port, you can only connect one B230 battery to the AC200L, which will give you a max capacity of 4,096 watt hours, because the B230 batteries, unlike the B300s and the B210s, which have yet to be released, they can be connected together. However, the B230 batteries cannot be connected together. However, when the AC200 Max, because it has two battery expansion ports, you can connect two B230 batteries, giving you a max capacity of 6,144 watt hours. And just note here, as of November 18th, 2023, on Bluetti's website, a B230 battery is $1,099, which has come down quite a bit from when they first came out. So that's good information to know. The AC200L, you can connect either two B300 batteries or two B210 batteries to the AC200L, because the B300 batteries and the B210 batteries apparently will connect to each other, so they can use just the one expansion port in the AC200L. Where, of course, the AC200 Max, you can connect two B300 batteries to the AC200 Max. And just keep a note, you cannot connect one B230 battery and one B300 battery to the AC200 Max. It has to be two of the B300s or two of the B230 batteries, just FYI. So both the AC200L and the AC200 Max with two B230 batteries can have a max capacity of 8,192 watt hours. So that's very good to know. And as I said, the AC200L, they're coming out with the B210 batteries, which have not been released yet. But as of right now, if you had two B210 batteries connected to the AC200L, that would give you a max capacity of 6,348 watt hours. And by doing some simple math, it appears that each B210 battery will have a capacity of 2,150 watt hours. So hopefully that gives you some more information on the expansion batteries and capabilities of both these units. And so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you a video here of a little bit more detail and my thoughts on this. Battery expansion ports. So on the AC200L, the new one, you only have one battery expansion port, where here on the AC200 Max, you have two battery expansion ports. And where I've seen this being an advantage and disadvantage, it could vary on your needs. And my cat Leah has decided she's going to jump up on top of the units here. So with the new AC200L, they say you can use one B230 battery, or two B300 batteries, or two B210 batteries. Now keep in mind, the B210 batteries, they have not released yet. They have just said that they're coming out, but we don't have any information on those as of yet. Now, the B210 batteries and the B300 batteries are supposed to be able to connect to each other. So I could see with the AC200L, you can get away with one battery port on the AC200L, because the B300 batteries, two of them would connect to each other and communicate that way. Or on the B210s, same thing, they would connect to each other and communicate through the one port. The disadvantage I see is price. Okay, so currently with the AC200 Max, you can use a B230 battery or a B300 battery. Now, the AC200 Max can be updated, its firmware can be updated through the Bluetti app, as I'm sure the AC200L can do the same. So possibly in the future, the B210 batteries might be able to be used with the AC200 Max here. We'll just have to wait and see if they do a firmware update for that. But the disadvantage with the one port on the AC200L that I can see is right now, you can only put one B230 battery. So right now, a B230 battery has the same capacity as the AC200L and the AC200 Max, which is 2,048 watt hours, okay? Now price. The B230 batteries as of November 18th, 2023, the price on the Bluetti's website is $1,099 US for a B230 battery. And for a B300 battery, it's $1,999 US. And so you can see how this would be an advantage or a disadvantage, because you can easily expand. Now you could take the AC200L or the AC200 Max with just one B230 battery and take it from 2,048 watt hours and doubling it to 4,096 watt hours. Now I have two B230 batteries here, so this whole stack together, the AC200 Max and the two B230 batteries, is 6,144 watt hours. But again, that's where I see the disadvantage with the AC200L, is it can only take one B230 battery. And price-wise, I think the B230 battery is at a pretty good price point. Now these have been coming down. I remember when they first came out, they were $14.99 or $13.99, and now they're $1,099. So a pretty good deal compared to the B300 at almost $2,000, and we don't know what the B210s will be, and even if they'll be compatible with the AC200 Max, perhaps, like I said, after a firmware update. So that's the advantage and disadvantage I see of having two battery expansion ports on the AC200 Max, and perhaps negative with only one on the AC200L. All right, let's talk about solar charging, and this is probably the most important aspect for me, since these are both solar generators. So we're going to compare the solar charging on the AC200L to the AC200 Max. So as you can see, the AC200L will now take 1,200 watts of solar, and that's with a range of 12 to 145 volts DC at 15 amps for its MPPT charger to activate, as opposed to the AC200 Max, which has a max of 900 watts of solar, but unlike the AC200L, instead of being 12 volts to start the MPPT charger, it can start in a range from 10 to 145 volts DC, also at 15 amps. Now, fast charging, and when I say fast charging, I'm thinking about with solar. Because for me, to get the return on investment on these units, I want to be able to recharge these with the sun purely. So first we're going to talk about the AC200 Max's fast charging. So I can do up to 1,400 watts of solar, all solar charging on the AC200 Max, which I really like. So 900 watts of solar with its main solar input, and an additional 500 watts of solar with the DC charging enhancer, the D050S, which can handle up to 500 watts of additional solar. So the 900 watts plus the 500 watts gives me 1,400 watts of pure solar to recharge the AC200 Max and the two batteries, or any battery I have attached to it that works with the Bluettis. Now, question mark on the fast charging of the AC200L. They say it's up to 2,400 watts of fast charging, but they say it's 1,200 watts of AC and 1,200 watts of solar. So if that's true, then the only way I can recharge the AC200L with just solar would be just 1,200 watts of solar. So unless they're going to make a new DC charging enhancer capable of 1,200 watts of input and output into the unit, then you're not going to be able to use 2,400 watts of pure solar on the AC200L to recharge everything. You're only going to have 1,200 watts of solar. So it'd be very interesting to see if the Bluetti team goes ahead and makes a new DC charging enhancer that's capable of, instead of 500 watts like the D050S, it will be capable of 1,200 watts. And then that way you would have a total of 2,400 watts of pure solar charging available to the AC200L. But as of right now, it doesn't appear that that's going to be so. Okay, last few items I wanted to cover before we end this video here. Additional features that I didn't mention earlier on the AC200L. So unlike the previous Bluetti units, the Max, the AC200P, and AC200, this AC200L does have a grounding lug, so you can connect it to a ground. So that might be handy for some people. And I also want to go over the charging rates. So on the AC200L, you have the standard, which is 1,200 watts of AC power, or 1,200 watts of solar. So a total of 1,200 watts of charging. And then you have turbo, which is 2,400 watts of AC charging, or 1,200 watts of solar combined with 1,200 watts of AC for a total of 2,400 watts of max charging. Then you also have what they call silent mode. So in either AC or solar, it's 800 watts max, which is supposed to help lower the noise of the unit as it's charging. And they say it also offers a quiet, low power operation for long battery life. So I think that might have answered our question as of right now. So I see some advantages of the AC200L, but I gotta admit at this point, I'm a little bit more impressed with the solar charging on the AC200 Max just because I can put in up to 1400 watts of solar charging into the AC200 Max, where it appears that the AC200L's max solar charging is 1200 watts. So unlike the AC200L, the AC200 Max can take in 900 watts of solar and an additional 500 watts with the D050S, giving you 1400 watts of solar charging, which I like for a better return on your investment, as opposed to possibly the AC200L and its limit of only 1200 watts of solar charging. So thank you so much for joining me for another video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Really appreciate it. I hope this video helps you learn some more information about the differences of the AC200L and the previous Bluetti models, and possibly help you make a decision as to which model you would like to purchase, the AC200L or the AC200 Max. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. You guys take care.